Hello and welcome to another episode of the iGoldrush Report, where you learn all about domain names, what to do with them, and how to make money with them. I'm Paul Goldstone, CEO and owner of iGoldrush.com, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hi everyone, I'm Morgan Linton and welcome to the iGoldrush Special Report. Today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that will be particularly useful for everyone that is headed to Vegas for traffic this month, at the end of the month. I'll be there, I hope you're going to be there, and if you are, I hope these tips will help you out. And what I want to talk about is I've talked before about tips for conferences and for setting up your schedule and your plans for conferences, and I recommend that if you haven't looked at that video, go back and look at it, or go back and listen to it. If you don't want to look at it, you can always listen to these videos in the background. And what I want to talk about now is, once you're there, you set up your meetings, you've got it scheduled, how to make the most of one-on-one meetings. I have a lot of meetings at conferences, and I find that most people I meet with are pretty prepared, and I try to be prepared myself. But I do find sometimes people are totally unprepared and end up wasting a lot of time, and I also have been on that side of the equation and have come to a meeting completely unprepared and completely wasted somebody else's time, which never really feels very good. So I want to talk about how to make the most of one-on-one meetings. And it really comes down to goal setting. And that is, every meeting that you're having with somebody, you should have a goal in mind for that meeting. If you're just meeting with someone, this happens a lot now, where people are like, oh, I'm just meeting with them to like say hi. Awesome. That's not a meeting though, that's just grabbing a beer. In that case, just say, hey, let's talk over beers. And there are a lot of opportunities at conferences, and Traffic does a phenomenal job of it because they have really great events planned, really all day and night. And so from networking in the cabanas to the parties in the evening, they have a great kickoff party, they have a great party at the end. There's so many opportunities just to quickly go up to someone while you're having a beer and just cheers them and go, hey, how's it going? I'm so-and-so, just wanted to say hi. That's fine. But if you actually set a meeting where you've got time on somebody else's calendar, you really want to make sure that you make the most of that. So you have to have a goal in mind. And what I find the best thing to do is, and this is what I do myself, is I put all my meetings into Excel, and I set a fair amount of meetings for these conferences. I try not to set meetings so I'm doing it like all day and night. And for those who know me, you know I actually really hate meeting in the morning. So I set most of my meetings in the afternoon. It's not that I'm not doing things in the morning, I just don't like to meet until afternoon, kind of after I've had lunch and stuff. That's just me. Everyone's different. Some people love meeting in the morning. That's great for them. But pick the time when you want to set your meeting and go and create an Excel document and put the meeting name, who you're meeting with, and what your goal is. So you should have something you want to get out of that meeting. If it's just like meet that person, great, grab a beer with them. You should have an actual goal that you want if you're going to set a meeting and take time out of your schedule and their schedule, and the minimum meeting time will typically be half an hour, so you should be able to accomplish something in that time. So if it's you want to get a special deal on your parking services, or you want to get them to build you a website, or you want to get SEO advice, whatever that is, set a real actualizable goal. Not just get SEO advice, but get SEO advice about this site and how to rank on page 1 for these terms. Whatever your actual goal is, or talk to this particular parking company and talk about increasing my rev share by X percentage. Really set realizable, actualizable goals that you know you're going to be able to measure. Because if you can't measure the goals, you come back after a conference and you go, oh, that was an awesome conference. And like a few months later, you're like, well, what happened? And it's because you didn't really maximize those meetings that you set up. So you have a goal in mind, and then make sure that you know the steps you need to take to hit that goal. So you're not going to want to just like get into the conversation and be like, hey, great to meet you. I want this out of this conversation. That's very weird to do. That'll make for a very awkward meeting. Instead, you want to look at like what are some of the other things that you can get out of the meeting, and the other thing that you always want to take into account is how can you help somebody else out. So if you're going to a meeting, all you're looking at is like, I want them to help me. Then yeah, that can work, but usually these things are two ways. So what you also want to do is in that Excel spreadsheet where you're putting what your goal is for the meeting, try to guess what their goal is for the meeting. Maybe they have a goal of what they would like to get out of it, and if you can guess what that is, you'll be able to actually, hopefully, help them with what they're looking for if they don't come out and say it. If they come out and say it, great, and if that matches up with what you thought they were going to say, even better. But the idea is, go into a one-on-one meeting, first off, at a time that you think makes sense and that's good for you, with a goal in mind of what you want to accomplish. It's a measurable goal, and with a guess of what can you do to help them. So like with the parking service, if they're going to give you a few percentage extra revenue share, maybe you have a few more names you could move over. Maybe you have a friend that's got some great names you could help move over to them. If there's someone that's giving you SEO advice, well, maybe you can give them advice on a particular domain they're looking to acquire. Or maybe you have a contact that's someone you could introduce them to. But it's this kind of stuff that you want to think of before the meeting. Otherwise, during the meeting, you're kind of coming up with stuff. And if that's the case, you should have just met them over beers. And that's really how to maximize a one-on-one meeting. And like I said, pick a time. Really, the time is so important. Pick a time that works for you. I can't tell you the number of people that I'm out partying with at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and we're having a beer together, and we're talking about stuff, and they go, oh, I've got to get up for this meeting at 7:30 because I've got this meeting at 8 a.m. If you really like meeting at 8 a.m., great. Make sure that the person you're meeting with really enjoys doing that too. Most people don't. Some people do. If you're both morning people, that's great. Then you're going to love meeting at 8 a.m. If you're not, or if you're a morning person like me, I'm up pretty much at 6:30 or 7, but I really don't like to talk to people much until about 10 or 11, then do it in a time frame that works for you best. All right, there is a sweet spot during your day where you are the most efficient. For me, it's like between 1 and 4 and between like 10 and 2. I have those 2 spots. Those are great times to catch me. Any other times, still fine, but those aren't my peak prime times. You really want to make sure that you're maximizing your time, maximizing your schedule, and setting these meetings at times when you're the most efficient and when the person you're meeting with is also the most efficient. So if you throw out 8 a.m. and they accept it, maybe ping them back and go, hey, is that really a great time for you, or would you rather we have it a little later? And then they may go, you know what, thanks for asking. Well, I could meet you at 8, and I was doing that just because I really wanted to impress you, and I really want to be nice, or whatever it is. Boy, 10 would be a lot easier. Great. Do it at 10. Then you guys are doing it at a time that works best for both of you. So that's it. Looking forward to seeing all of you at Traffic. For those that are going, if you're not, you can still buy tickets. Buy your tickets and go. Highly recommended. This is Morgan from the iGoldrush Report. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the iGoldrush Report. If you have any questions or comments or any other topics you'd like discussed, please visit our website at www.igoldrush.com, and we look forward to hearing from you.